When I'm not judging the authenticity of conspiracy theory documentaries solely based on the quality of their cinematography, I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube. So let's get to it. If you could replace a guitarist in any band, what would it be? Now here's a fantastic question. I think the real answer to this question, to get as many salty comments and hate as possible, was if I were to somehow be able to replace Keith Richards in the Rolling Stones. That would be like a wet dream for me for a lot of different reasons. More realistically, I think a good replacement guitar player is just kind of walking into a band and just picking up what the old guitar player did and just kind of have things going. I would love to be in a band like Interpol, because it's something that has a cool sound, is pretty easy to play, and generally doesn't require a lot of real steadfast concentration. Not hating on the band, love the guitar players, everything about it is really cool, but just kind of rhythmically being able to enjoy being in a band is such a better experience than playing lead guitar, because I've kind of done both things, and even to a certain extent playing bass in a band. Playing bass is kind of the best experience because you can just lock down the pocket, lock down the rhythm, and enjoy the show, as compared to sometimes playing lead guitars. A lot of times you have to actually concentrate and know what you're doing depending on the genre or style of music. So I'm gonna go short. Long answer Rolling Stones, short answer Interpol. Is she trying to convince you to buy some special Moroccan handmade effects pedals? #GearSys. So this is in response to the group of pictures I put up on Instagram earlier today, actually, where I was at Disney World heroically trying to mac on Jasmine, the Disney princess, in the meet and greet, which was pretty awesome. One of the few non-6-year-old girls in that line, but I feel like I made the most of it and I made a very memorable experience for all parties involved. That being said, that actually wasn't an invitation to try out some Moroccan handmade effects pedals. However, there will be some effects pedal talk coming up because I'm in the market for a new delay pedal, so I'm going to go through some features on other ones. I got a timeline in here, and I think might have Walrus Audio, or what's the other one? An Empress one. So we've got some delay effects pedals stuff coming up soon. So if you have any questions on delays, I'm going to be making a couple videos just kind of going through what you're looking for on a delay pedal. So I would love to have some questions before I get into making these videos to maybe make them a little more cohesive. Sean, entertaining as always. Since you previously worked at a big box store, any advice for how to get the best deals at Guitar Center or similar? Are there specific times to visit to get the best deal, negotiation opportunities, anything else? Or just window shop and buy elsewhere for the best deals? So yeah, a lot of you know I used to work at Guitar Center back in the day, and things have actually changed a lot since then. Back in the day, the actual store employees and salespeople had the ability to kind of mark stuff down themselves without getting manager oversight to do so. You can do that at your own discretion, and a lot of times there are killer deals to be had just by turning on the charm. But those days are long gone, especially for Guitar Center. I can't really speak to Sam Ash or anything like that, but for GC, I've actually just recently been there talking to some people, and there's really there's nothing that they can do, at least at the stores that I've been there. The best they can do is every now and then there might be a coupon or something, 10%, 15% off thing that you can get in an email thing, and still restrictions really kind of apply to a lot of those things. The best thing you can do is they have trade and trade up stuff going on, I know, where you can just trade in something really cheap that you're not even using, and depending on what you're getting, you might be able to kind of recoup a little bit more than the value of the thing that you traded in. Just keep an eye out for sales. But what they almost always do is they will find a way to price match stuff. So price match is probably the way to go. I know a lot of people like to kind of window shop and try stuff out and then go order it online. The thing about that is, if everybody does that, those big box stores aren't going to be around much longer, which I know they are kind of hurting. So I definitely like to support the local stores that we have. And generally that doesn't cost me much more money than it would to just order stuff online. I think it's just kind of just being thoughtful about it. But yeah, sadly the days of getting great deals are no longer around, but you can kind of see the trade-off being that there really isn't as much margin on the stuff as maybe there used to be too. So it does seem like the consumer is winning as far as the market value and the deals as you can get. but like walking in and like haggling and negotiating doesn't really work like maybe it used to. Ryan Reynolds, Aftermath. So I realize this is probably taken to be a little salty, but I'm still taking this one as a massive compliment, so there. Hey Sean, talking of famous guitar players, what are your thoughts on Richie Sambora? Thanks. So if you don't know, Richie Sambora is the guitar player for Bon Jovi, and it wasn't really something that I gave a lot of thought to on my own. I kind of lumped Bon Jovi in with a lot of the bands of that era as like, yeah, this is like cool stuff, but not really stuff that I'd want to play. And then when I was working at the guitar shop that Justin, who's been on the channel a lot, used to run, there was a guitar tech there named Doug, and he would tell us stories of Richie Sambora and how he was like the most amazing guitar player he's ever met. And this Doug guy, who I'm gonna try to get out of hibernation, get on this channel, because he's like an absolutely fantastic weirdo musician. Like when he says something like that, you listen. So after hearing that, I kind of started like paying more attention to the Bon Jovi stuff, and Richie Sambora is actually like a beast player. And I think what kind of gets overlooked at is how he's really just kind of playing the game, and he's just writing, you know, his interpretation of what is appropriate for those type of songs in the direction they're going for. And to that extent, he absolutely kills it and crushes it, when maybe, you know, his playing is a little bit beyond the ability that he was kind of showcasing a lot of those songs, which really speaks to the heart of what a great musician is, and that's kind of doing what is right for a song instead of doing what is right for your ego. So Richie Sambora is an absolute master player that honestly might not get, or might be weirdly overrated to the point that he's underrated for what he does. So yeah, again, I'm not a huge Bon Jovi fan. I enjoy Bon Jovi more ironically than anything else. But the dude's an absolute killer player. So, you know, Richie Sambora, the man. Were you a Linkin Park fan? How do you feel about Chester's death? So yeah, total bummer. Lead singer of Linkin Park killed himself a couple weeks ago. And even though I haven't really listened to Linkin Park since high school, it was definitely kind of an important band for me. I know before I really kind of found what I felt was my taste in music, Linkin Park was a band that was super popular, that had guitar as a central focus of it. And again, even though I feel like my musical taste has changed a lot since high school, I definitely know that I started picking up guitar around the same time Hybrid Theory and that stuff came out, and that was stuff that I did listen to, and I did learn a lot of the riffs in those songs. It's a very accessible band to start playing guitar to and start playing the songs that they wrote. So there is always kind of a soft spot in my heart for Linkin Park, even though really I haven't listened to them in like a long time. So, I mean, the more important thing is just a bummer that musicians keep killing themselves. So hopefully they kind of figure out if it's like this like depression thing, if it's a drug thing, I don't really know. Again, such a bummer. A band that I used to like way back in the day. But again, it's just kind of bad news, and it's just a bummer, man. So, you know, hopefully those guys will kind of find a way to keep doing their thing. But this is kind of like a bad story. Hey Sean, I was wondering how you come up with the vocal melody for the songs you write. Choosing a chord progression is something I can do, but I can never think of any vocal melody that goes on top of the chords. Can you help me with this? Thanks in advance. Now, this is probably one of the hardest questions to answer, because it's just something that I feel I kind of innately have been able to do to varying degrees of success. But it's always a point of just kind of like jamming on something, and then maybe either just humming or just putting kind of like dummy words into something until I get a melody. And I'm really just kind of cycling through things in my head. This is just how I do it. Every once in a while, the melody will manifest itself in the form of lyrics, and generally the way that works is sometimes it'll come like either super fast. Like I remember when I wrote that song Parador, kind of like the title track off that album, which the acoustic one is coming out soon. I think I'll probably do like another like announcement video on that or something. But with Parador, it like came so fast that it's hard to really explain. But I think there is some kind of subconscious thing where you hear a chord, and you know, if you write vocal melodies or something like that, you're naturally finding a way to match one of the notes in that chord with the melody. Now, if you're really not good at that, or you just kind of want to starter on that, the best way to do it is take a looper pedal, loop the chord progression you're going, and try to play something in the style of a vocal melody over that. And when I say in the style of it, don't make it too fast, don't make it too many notes, just kind of like a simple melody that you can just loop as the lead guitar, and then maybe try to find that range in your voice to kind of maybe just hum it out, and just sing it with just kind of like dummy words that you know you're going to replace, even if they're not even words, even if they're just sounds, just to kind of get something in there, because it's really hard to write. I found it's hard to write lyrics for a song, and then having to like worry about the melody on top of that is an extra layer of difficulty that can be daunting at sometimes. But really just kind of just find out whatever works for you, whatever style helps you with your writing. I have found that learning piano was really helpful for me too, because in the left hand I can play the chord progression, and with the right hand I can kind of just mess around in a key. And to me that almost is a more organic way of doing it than having the extra step of the looper pedal. But again, these are just things that have worked for me, and I understand if this answer has not been that helpful to you, but I think it's really just like a hard thing to explain, and I think it's a little bit different for everybody. So my best advice is to just get that chord progression. Like you said, you know how to make chord progressions, just keep rocking it out, loop it, find the notes in those chords that a melody would fit over, and then try to play simple lead lines over that, and then maybe try to match pitch with your voice, and hopefully that'll help out a little bit. So speaking of me trying to join the band Interpol, I'm going to throw you to listening homework to check out a song off the first album, PDA, which is still one of my favorite Interpol tracks in the band that actually got me into them, and the song that actually got me into the band in the first place. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the question section, Instagram, Twitter, the website, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.